Hello and welcome to another episode of the Melton True Blue podcast. This is episode 9. My name is Taryn and our guest today is Rosemary Vermeulen, our advertising coordinator. Very excited for this podcast and for this guest. Known Rosemary for a while now. And Rosemary, you just got back from a pretty big trip just this weekend, right? Where'd you go?
I went to Destin, Florida.
Okay.
Got to stay in Sandestin. It was a nice little area. Got to go to Crab Island. Got sunburnt.
Yes.
But we made it back alive. It was a fun time.
Yeah, a little sunburn's okay, especially this time of year,
First of the year.
Yeah, you got to get your first burn of the year and then it turns into a tan, right? And so that way, you're kind of ready for the summer, so I think it's a good thing. Now, you were on the East Coast, but lived in the West Coast for a while, correct?
Yes.
What do you prefer as far as the beaches go?
So, I am a little biased because I was born in San Diego,
Okay.
so I do love San Diego, but when it comes to the beaches, Destin, the beaches in the Gulf, I mean, they're just gorgeous.
Yeah.
The sand is just that powdery white sand. That water's just so clear. It's like the green, blue. It's beautiful. So clear and warm. So I have to say I do love those beaches. There's no seaweed. Unfortunately, in San Diego, there's a lot of seaweed. The water's cold.
Okay.
But I do love San Diego.
Yeah,
it's still home.
And how long did you live in San Diego for?
So I was born there and lived there for about, I want to say, a year and a half, and then I started my journey all over the world.
I was going to say, yeah, you've lived in so many different places, and it's kind of cool. And so let's circle back to that. And so the reasons you moved everywhere is because you're...
My dad.
Yes, your dad, military.
Yes.
What branch?
Army.
Army, okay, go Army. What's their saying? Do they have a saying? Is it go Army?
Go Army.
Okay. Maybe. I don't know. Well,
Army strong.
Army strong. That's what I was
it
looking
is.
for.
Army
Okay.
strong. I was like, wait a minute.
And so, talk to us about that. So your dad is still enlisted?
Just retired.
Oh, wow.
Retired 23
Congratulations.
years. Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yep. He retired as a command sergeant major.
Okay.
And we moved every 3 years of my life.
And so, give me some places you've lived.
I've lived in Texas, Hawaii, Germany, California, New York, here.
Okay. And what's been your favorite place?
I have to say California, just because
Okay.
that's home. I
Yeah.
have a lot of family members that live in San Diego, so we eventually moved back to California after a while, and we lived there for about 6 years because there was 2 different stations he was stationed at, and we were only an hour away from family, so you can't beat that.
So what brought you to Oklahoma?
My dad, he got promoted whenever we were living
Was
in
there
New
a
York.
branch here, or is there a base here?
So he was in the recruiting battalion,
Okay.
so USAREC, and so he was in charge of a lot of other recruiting. What was it? Recruiting stations all around, like the region.
Gotcha. And did any part of you ever think about joining military?
I can't say yes
Okay.
because it'd be a lie.
Yeah.
I never wanted to, just because I'm tired of moving. I couldn't do it again.
Yeah, you lived that life through your father a little bit, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
My dad likes to say that I served my time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, when you're a part of that family, you kind of do, right? You're enriched in that culture, but it's still so neat that you've got to live in so many different places. I think Germany's awesome. I've never been, but it's so cool that you have to live there for a little while. And then also getting to see all the different places just in the U.S. here, Hawaii, California, and then Oklahoma, of course, which now is home now.
It's home.
I know you said San Diego's home, but I think we tend to like it here in Oklahoma.
Yeah, we're comfortable. The
yeah,
tornadoes are a little,
Yeah.
but we haven't had very many of those.
Not yet, yeah, knock on wood, right? So what I want to do now is, so you came to Oklahoma. What grade were you in when you came to Oklahoma? Because I know we went to the same high school.
Yes.
Yes.
I was a junior in high school.
Junior in high school. So you came to Oklahoma for 2 years of high school, graduated, and went to
College. So I went to TCC for 2 years and then transferred to OSU Tulsa.
OSU Tulsa, okay. And then you graduated at OSU Tulsa with a major in
Marketing.
And you were working at Chewy's,
Yes.
a local restaurant here in Tulsa
Yes.
area. Is it local or is it a chain?
It's a chain restaurant. Back whenever I was working there, I remember there was about like 82 locations. I don't know about now, but
Okay. So maybe our viewers from out of Oklahoma might know what Chewy's is, right?
Yeah.
But it's a Mexican restaurant.
Tex-Mex.
Tex-Mex, yeah. It's
important.
not very authentic, yeah.
but it's good.
Yeah, it is good. I like Chewy's. And then how did you hear about us? I know you came here as in a different role than what you are in currently. So talk to us about that. Talk to us about your how you heard about Melton and like transitioning from the position that you were hired into the position you're in now.
So Melton, the way I found out about Melton, so I in my last semester, I started looking at companies. I looked at, just corporate offices in Oklahoma, just in the Tulsa area, because I wanted to work in a corporate office. That was my main goal. One of them anyway. And I have a friend who was a recruiter at the time, Sarah Easton.
Yes.
Shout out to her.
Yes, fantastic.
She actually talked to me about Melton a little bit. I remember her loving this place, and so I asked if I could put her down as a referral, and I submitted my application, and you called me the next day.
Yeah, I think employee referrals go so far as well. I think we have so many great people in our office, in our building, and I always say great people tend to know great people, right? And so when we get an employee referral, we're always so excited because when an employee's been with us, like Sarah, who's been with us for 7, 8 years now, when they say, hey, I've got a great friend, I'm like, I know Sarah, I know who she is, and she probably does have a great friend. And I think it goes a long way. And also with our drivers, too, our driver referrals. When we have a driver who's been driving with us for a while, we know that driver, the driver knows Melton, so he can kind of almost tell their friends what Melton is from their point of view, and what better point of view than from an office employee or from a current driver, right? So I think it goes a long way versus a driver recruiter calling or me calling. I think those employee or driver referrals go a long way, and they help out a lot. So would you agree with that?
Oh yeah. I mean, you never want to. Well, personally, I don't want to put my name on anyone that I'm not confident in. So I'm not going to refer anybody that I don't think will be a good fit for Melton.
Sure.
So I agree.
Yeah, and so you came to Melton. I think it was for a business development role.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, and you'd never really done sales in your life. I mean, I know. Like the service industry, there's a little bit of sales there. I mean,
customer service mainly.
Customer service. You're working for some tips, and you were working in the bar as well.
Yes, I mainly worked in the bar, so I was a bartender and cocktail waitress. Okay. So I.
What was your favorite drink to make?
My favorite drink to make?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. My favorite one to make, it was just fun. It was this one, it was called the King's Punch, just because it had all these different ingredients and different colors.
Yeah.
You could just kind of whip it up and it would turn this really pretty like orangey red color.
Okay.
But if we're talking about convenience and how fast it was, I loved like making the little spicy martinis. Those were fun. Spicy
martinis. Okay, those sound disgusting. A spicy martini?
No, it's.
Is it like an olive with like what's in there?
So it was. It's green chili infused tequila. So you infuse the tequila, let it sit for 24 hours.
Okay.
Those green chilies, you strain them out, and then you mix some lime juice, sugar water in there, and it's just magical.
I love how you still know everything like about.
Oh, absolutely.
You have to. In order to be a good bartender, you have to do that. So you never really had done sales before, and then you saw Melton, you heard about the company, and then we put you in a business development role. And tell me about how that role kind of shaped what you're going into now. And so tell me about kind of your time in business development and then moving to our advertising team.
So in business development, I was doing a lot of, it was a great position for me to start in because I was brand new to the trucking industry.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you drew me a picture of a flatbed on I think at my interview, because I remember looking at the website, or it was a step deck trailer, that's what it was.
Okay.
I didn't know what a step deck was.
Right.
And you drew me a picture and I was like, makes sense.
Yeah.
Basically, those trailers that you saw in Final Destination with, all of the lumber on the back. I was like, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
But
we don't want to repeat that incident on Final Destination.
Absolutely not. Nope.
If anyone's seen Final Destination, hopefully there's some early 2000s people listening here that have seen that movie. It's like the cheesiest horror movie, if you will.
Gory.
Yeah. And there's a scene where all of this lumber falls off the back of a truck, and so I always say not a good day in trucking when that happens, and that doesn't happen here at Melton Truck Lines, but that's how you knew what a step deck was from Final Destination. Being in business development, I learned so much just about our sales and marketing efforts and how we work with customers. I learned the customer side of things, so I learned a lot about the commodities we haul. I learned a lot about our length of haul, the type of I learned a lot about OTR just from the freight side of things. Sure.
And so I got to learn a lot about, the shippers, just everything.
Yeah.
And it was great because I took all that information with me when I got into my advertising role, and now I'm able to have that, with that background, I'm able to really help with our website and, you know, just highlighting customer marketing quite a bit.
Yeah,
so.
I think it's really cool, especially here at Melton, is I always say I want to be like a Swiss Army knife. You know, I want to know a little bit about everything in the company, and that's the best way to kind of move from other areas, right? What can you bring from this one area to strengthen this area, right? And so you learn so much in your business development role, and that's such a unique role. I will tell a story here. We during COVID, we went on a hiring freeze, an employee hiring freeze, and so at that point, my job was kind of obsolete, right? I wasn't hiring any office employees, and so during that time, I said, well, hey, let me go learn some other areas of the company, right? That way I can kind of be that Swiss Army knife, that tool, and go in and help out. So I did a stint with driver recruiting for a while, and then I joined Rosemary's business development team, right? And they said, well, hey, we need to find customers. Get on the phone and start dialing. And so Rosemary, myself, and a few others volunteered for the business development team. And my background with Melton is through sales as well. I started with Melton Logistics, our brokerage company. So I knew a little bit about it, but it had been a while since I gotten into it. And it was really neat, you know, seeing all of us come together and help in a time where we needed to say, hey, all hands are on deck. There's no job too big. Let's see what we can do here. And, you know, I think the Melton goal is, you know, we're all kind of on the same path of, you know, let's get some freight, deliver it safe, and make some money, right? And keep our drivers happy. And we're all on that same goal. No matter what your job is, you're affecting that in some way, somehow. And so it was neat being on your team. It was neat calling customers, and you know, just the amount of customers who knew who we were was amazing, right? You call these customers that we had done business with several years ago, or maybe someone brand new that we found, you know, through some of our tools, like customer search tools. And they're like, oh, hey, we don't have anything right now, but we definitely know who you are. We need that information, save it in our system, and then convert those, you know, leads to customers. And so it was really neat seeing that side of things. But I can totally see how that could help you into your current role as an advertising coordinator.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I know so much about I went through strategic sales training.
Yeah,
when
SSS.
I first SSS.
Yeah.
I went through that whenever I first started, and that, I can tell you right now, taught me so much about the services we offer, about Melton, and then just a lot about our trailers and the different types of, I mean, everything in those PFBs, that whole packet of those, that really taught me so much. And I still take that, I still have that. I took it with me, I still have it, still use it whenever I'm creating, you know, website content for our customers, and, you know, really targeting people in those campaigns. It's just pretty cool to have that background knowledge.
Yeah, and so let's talk about the advertising coordinator role. So, so that opened up. We posted it internally, I believe, right? And we said, and I think you applied and said, hey, this is something I really want to do. And what made you want to say, hey, I want to hop into that advertising coordinator role? What was kind of that drive for you to go do something new in Melton?
So for me, it was, you know, I really enjoyed my time in business development. I did a lot of cold calling. But unfortunately, I just wasn't really, I didn't want to stay in sales, because with my degree in marketing, I really wanted to be in more of like an advertising marketing role.
Utilize that degree.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to use my creativity to create campaigns. I wanted to, you know, really make a difference and like really draw people into the company, tell them about Melton, you know, brand awareness. That was so important to me. And so I really wanted to use those skills that I learned in school. So whenever I saw that advertising position open up, I hopped on it as soon as I could. And yeah, thankfully they wanted me on the team, and I mean, it's been great ever since. It's been, what, 2 years now?
I think probably about 2 years is, 2.5 maybe, somewhere in that range. And it feels like so long ago, but it also feels like it was yesterday too. It's like weird how time works. But the advertising coordinator role, I think, is really important. To what Rosemary was saying is about our brand awareness, Google campaigns. You know, what you do, and I don't even want to try to speak on it. I know a little bit about it, but I'm not going to pretend like I know a ton about it, just because it's so above my head on what you guys do there. I walk into Rosemary's office, she's got like 3 screens pulled up, and they're all like different stuff with like, you know, charts and data on it, and I'm like, I don't even want to ask what you're doing today. This looks like a lot. So talk to us about kind of just some of your basic functions that you do in your role. So you talk about brand awareness, and so what are some other things that you do, and how do you do that?
So I work very closely with our social media coordinator and our content media coordinator. And so we all together, it's just we come together like a puzzle. So I work on those I create those campaigns in Google, Facebook, wherever those outlets are, and I will do the back end of it. I will get it going. I use our advertising dollars, create a budget for it, create audiences and, target them. I use all this kind of verbiage, ad copy, and then I work with our social media and content creator to, create the images and video for me. And then I'll run those campaigns and watch them and monitor them. And, I report on them. I look at their analytics to make sure that we're spending our advertising dollars efficiently. And we're optimizing our campaigns as much as possible. So I'm constantly doing research. We work with a lot of vendors as well, job boards. And so just constantly trying to stay on top of everything. So just a lot of research, a lot of testing.
So any content that you see that's Melton Truck Lines content, you were on the back end of that content at some point, essentially?
Our website.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm saying as far as like if we see a Melton Truck Lines ad or Facebook post, you were on the back end of that at some point working on that, correct?
Yes. So the ad itself, so if you see like an ad pop up, not anything like, not posts on our page, that's our social media coordinator, but I do a lot of the, like if you see a Facebook ad and it says sponsored in Melton Truck Lines, that's probably me.
Okay. And how many, is Facebook becoming like a much better recruiting tool for us now? I'm sure it kind of fluctuates a little bit, but has it gained popularity since you've been in the role?
Yes, I'd say. Well, I know that Facebook has always been a pretty popular outlet for a lot of our advertising, especially because we're trying to target drivers. And a lot of drivers use Facebook.
Sure, a lot of people use Facebook.
Well, a lot of people, yes. I can't just say drivers, but we've found a lot of success in our Facebook and Google, and a lot of those internal campaigns that we create. But Facebook would definitely be a popular source for us.
Okay.
There was a little bit of a struggle. We were a little limited on who we could target because of they changed some.
Facebook changed.
Yeah, Facebook changed some of the rules and regulations on some of the ways you can target. So now we're a little more limited.
Sure.
So it's a little more difficult. It's not, but it's still working though.
Yeah,
so
absolutely. I know you can't give. I know you can't give like all of our secret sauce on this podcast, right? We have to keep that in house because we do such a great job, and it's been incredible watching our driver recruitment efforts. I think our cost per hire now has dramatically declined in a positive way. I said decline like that was negative, but also like the amount of applications we're getting are rising as well. So we're doing something great, and I know we can't share what that is, but you guys are totally crushing it right now, and so I love to see that. And like you said, it's just a really unique role, and I think it is so powerful to our bottom line, right? In order for this company to work, we need drivers, right? They're the most important part of this puzzle, like you mentioned. In order to do that, we need to advertise. We need to get them out there, and I think the days of the newspaper ads are gone, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And so we've got to keep up. Are you guys running any paper ads?
No.
Okay, all right.
No, we're not.
I figured that was the answer, but I was like, I wonder if somewhere
it's all digital media nowadays.
We still have like a contract from the 80s that we're still running one little ad in the paper, but I figured not. Okay, gotcha.
And they're expensive.
Are
surprisingly,
they? Tulsa World ads are expensive, yeah.
Pretty pricey.
I'm not subscribed to the newspaper.
I'm not either.
Yeah.
I can't say that I am myself.
I don't think my parents are anymore, to be honest with you. I remember.
You get the news just on that little screen,
Yeah, I know, right? It's all right there. It's so much more convenient. But I do miss I never read the newspaper, but I always wanted to read the newspaper. It looks cool. Pop it up. Yeah. It's just,
or you miss the comics. Did you ever look at the comics?
Yeah, of course I looked at the comics. Or the crosswords or something like that. Yeah, I love crosswords. They're fun.
Do you ever do the Wordle?
I did Wordle for the 6 months it was popular, but even then I may do it I don't know, once a week, twice a week, and I was like, this is kind of boring. It's lost a little bit. So that thing was so popular for a while.
It was.
And then I feel like no one does Wordle. Do you still do Wordle?
No.
Okay.
But I used to love it. I mean, I could get back into it.
Yeah. So that's awesome. Well, thanks for sharing about some of your experiences here in your role. Going back to Melton, just in a whole in a company. What's some of your favorite parts about Melton Truck Lines? Outside of your job, outside of your role, what's some of your favorite parts?
I would honestly have to say the people, the atmosphere, I mean, the amenities. I mean, all of it. It's such a great company to work for. People really care. You're able to really express how you feel. You know, really give. You can give your feedback, but also receive that constructive criticism.
Yeah.
But also, like, you know, when you give your feedback, you see them do something about it a lot of the times. You
Right.
know, like it's not just I'm just talking to talk. They're really listening and trying to help you
Yeah.
solve whatever issue you have, and they really care and put all that effort into it. And I think that's very important.
Yeah, because what good is it going to do us if we hear, hey, let's change this, right? Let's try this something new. I think we're always so open to new ideas, and right, we'll say, hey, well, let's try it, and if it sticks, it sticks, and if it doesn't, okay, well, we can say that one didn't work. And I love that kind of attitude here at Melton because I always say I have a not yet folder, and it's a long one, right? Where things I say, hey, let's try this, and we're like, not yet. I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna put that in my not yet folder. I'm gonna bring it back up in another month, right?
Okay.
And eventually that's gonna happen, right? I'm like, eventually someday we're gonna do this. But I think our leadership, our management, does such a great job of listening to the employees and saying, hey, you guys know your role so well. What can we do to change? Or how would you want to change it? How would you want to see something be different? And we act upon that. I think it's really important as a company to listen to that feedback. And like you said, the people, the amenities, the culture, I can talk for hours about that. It's literally my job, right? But it's fantastic, right? The people here are just so true, right? It's I think when I first came here, I was like, this is gonna fade off at some point. No one can be this happy all the time at work. And,
Right. I thought the same thing.
5 years later, I haven't felt that yet. It's still, people are still so happy to be here, enjoy their job, enjoy the company, and that thing, you can't put a price tag on that, right? Coming into work and being surrounded by great people every day, and you're at work a lot, right? We're here 5 days a week. You might as well get along with the people you work with, and I don't think there's a better company that does it like Melton. I know you frequent the gym a lot, so do I. That's one of my favorite amenities here at Melton, and what a great getaway to say, hey, for an hour, I'm going to go work out with some friends here on site. Go get away, put some AirPods in, or go do a boot camp class with Brett.
Those get me every time.
Yeah, they are tough. But it's so great to see those people in the gym and catch up on, hey, how was your weekend? Or like you and
How's
I
your
talking
dog?
about, talking about Florida this morning. So I think it was great that we just have that culture here at Melton where everyone's a friend, right? Everyone's a little bit more than a coworker. We're here for the right reasons, and it's fantastic. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Rosemary, thank you so much for coming on the Melton True Blue podcast today. I'm glad we got to get you on here. You're usually behind the camera or behind the scenes, so I'm glad we were able to bring you to the front row here. So everyone for listening, thank you so much. Once again, my name is Taryn.
I'm Rosemary.
And if anyone wants to be on the Melton True Blue podcast or has any podcast recommendations, please reach out. But thanks for listening.